What is the text you are starting at school? Is it the dolphin one, the Explorer's Daughter? Yeah. Okay. So
we're going for the unknown girl.
Unknown girl. Okay. So I just had a chat with your moms. If you click on workshop schedule, you'll see that I have decided on some of the passages, but those passages can change. When we study, it can change. I know all of you will want to match whatever you're doing at school. So that's exactly what we'll do. Yeah. I wrote down Passage to Africa, but later I'll change it and we'll start with Explorer's Daughter. Today, I will use only little parts of Passage to Africa just to show you what we'll be doing. This lesson is mostly to help you understand the exam, why you're sitting what is the purpose of the exam, and then basically how to do the language analysis, which is the hardest part. Yeah, so there's a method to all of this crazy reading. Yeah, and my purpose, or like my job here, is to help you see the method. That's it. Okay. Everything else, any other questions that you have, just ask me at the end, and we'll go through it bit by bit. Okay. So even if we have to go through the whole passage, just ask. Okay. Okay. Now let's start with course content. Yeah. So workshop schedule and content. Can everybody see that file? Yeah. Now, in the workshop schedule and content, week 1, overview, paper 1 and paper 2 overview, and the assessment criteria, structure of answers and questions, text types, writing skills, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. All of that, basically, the reason, someone is missing a signature. Ursula is missing a signature. Yes. Okay. Now, can you go to week or WK1 handout 1? Let's start there. That would be a better place to start. Thank you. Yeah, everybody see it? Assessment overview and text types. Okay. Yes, I see. Jenny is there. I'll give you guys a minute. Do you guys have textbooks? You have a textbook. You have a pink textbook for this, right? Did anybody bring their textbook? No?
We don't think there is any anthology there. It's just some skills and stuff.
Yeah, I just wanted to have a look at the useless textbook that you've been assigned. Okay. Now, paper 1 is nonfiction text and transactional writing. What is transactional writing? What does the word transactional mean? Let's go with Susanna. Which one is Susanna? That one. Yes. What do you think that means? It's okay if you don't know. Yeah. So that's exactly what I mean. Yeah. Nonfiction texts are what? What is nonfiction? What's fiction?
Fiction is something that is a story and it's made up.
That's right.
Non-fiction is something that is real facts and that is, for example, it's autobiography.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. Yeah. So here you're looking at texts that are real. Okay. Transactional writing is when I will say something like, write a letter to Susanna about how useless your textbook is. That's transactional because there is a transaction happening. What's a transaction? When you go to a shop, you buy something and you give them the money, the whole action is called a transaction. Yeah? Because there's 2 parties involved, right? Exactly the same thing. They will give you a situation where you have to interact with an imaginary person. Okay? So that's transactional writing. Now, the reason you do transactional writing with nonfiction texts is because if you do fiction, it can be up to anyone to decide what that text means, right? So if you do Cinderella, I'm not going to write a letter to Cinderella. What can I possibly say to Cinderella? Nothing. I can say nothing to Cinderella, right? But have you all finished reading Explorer's Daughter? Yes? If I wrote a letter to her, that'd be cool. Like, oh, dude, I've never lived in a place that cold. Oh my God, that's crazy. I don't even like swimming. I don't think I can even swim. right? I can say things to her because she has experiences that are real, right? So that's why you do paper one for the transactional writing. What you need to remember about paper one is they just want to see that you can be a little bit human. Yeah, that's it. If you can show that you can have a relationship with an imaginary person, that's half of your job done. Okay. Now, all of the unseen texts that you will get, because you will also get passages that you have not seen before in paper one. Those passages will be very similar to what you're already studying. So there'll be nothing new in terms of method, only content. Yeah. When I say the word content, I usually mean vocabulary. So paper one is difficult because of vocab. There'll be random words where you're just like, why are we doing this? Why do we have to learn this like transactional? Why do you need to learn the word? It's just random words, yeah? But how you understand that word, because you're not going to have a dictionary in the exam, right? As long as you can sort of guess what the word means, you're okay. And honestly, most of paper one, the unseen text, the first passage, 50% of the time you're just like, I don't know what this means. I'm just going to guess this is a bad thing. This is emotionally difficult. That's fine, done. Yeah. So paper two is your poetry and prose, which is where we go into all of the difficult literary features. Yeah. No one likes poetry. I know. If a teenager ever says to me, oh, I like poetry, you're lying. Full on lying. Yeah. Because not even adults really like poetry that much. Okay. Yeah. So I understand why maybe some of you are nervous about the poetry, especially the poetry. Yeah. What is imaginative writing? Let's go with Jenny.
Is it something that you made up or like you need to use your imagination?
Yeah. What's another way of saying imaginative writing?
Creative writing.
Exactly. What is creative writing? Is my next question. How do you write creatively?
Stories?
Yeah, it can be stories.
That's not true, or you made it up.
Yeah, you basically make it up. Now, with this imaginative writing, the biggest hurdle that students have is thinking that they cannot be very, very, very creative. Okay, all of your brains work better than my brain. That's simple biological fact because you are younger. That's it. Okay? That's it. Your brains are much faster than my brain will be any time in my life at this point. Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. It's not too bad. Yeah. The reason it's okay is because that means you will in fact probably do better at creative writing than I will. Honestly, in my head, I can't. It's not easy for me to be like creative. What is creative writing? I don't know. I don't care. I have a job, right? It's you people who need to think about the creative writing, right? So in the imaginative writing, if they ask you a question like, I don't know, write a narrative about when the last time you experienced fear. Make it as crazy as you want. You know, like a lot of students will write about, one time my little brother scared me when he jumped out from a corner and yelled boo. No, right? There was a monster under my bed. It's a dinosaur. I don't know how a dinosaur fit under there, but whatever. There's a dinosaur. He's going to eat me. That's fear, right? So with imaginative writing, what you have to do is just go to the extreme. Immediately, if they want to write about happiness, be like, I'm in a field of rainbows and sunshine, chocolate, exactly, unicorns and sprinkles and ice cream, right? Just do that. That's fine. Yeah. In fact, that will get you more marks because then you're being pushed to use more vocab. Both papers, vocab is your answer, right? I'm assuming everybody wants to get an A. Yeah, the highest mark possible. How do you get the highest mark possible? There are maybe more than 500,000 other students taking the same exam. You stand out by vocab. That's it. Yeah, I know it seems really simple because now you're like, oh my God, I hate learning new vocabulary. I hate it. It's stupid. It's fine. That's part of what we will work on. Okay. Now, if you scroll down a little further, you'll see text types. Yeah, I've done the first one, or first two rather, for you. All of the blanks, by the way, when I give you handouts, there'll be lots of blanks that I'll make you guys fill in during the lesson. After the lesson, after we're completed with each of the things, I'll put all the answers in there so you can see what the differences are, yeah? Now, the first type of text that you will come to see is the nonfiction text, advertisements, yeah? So usually the purpose of ads are what? To inform, to describe, to entertain, blah, 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 yeah? Sometimes you will actually have ads that will try and advise you to do things. Like, you know, when the government does those really ugly ads on the YouTube, be fair to people. Like, yeah, obviously, like, thanks.
Recycle.
Exactly, recycle. Great, thank you, Hong Kong government. Like, telling me to recycle when you just burn everything in China, right? So the point of me putting down the purpose, the opinion will be one-sided, for example. What are the common features? It's because you will use these exact words in your essays, okay? So before you really start looking at all of the texts that you are studying, I need you to really understand what the different text types are for, okay? How are they made? What are their features? What parts do they have, okay? So advertisements, they'll be one-sided. Why will the opinion be one-sided? Let's go with Cherry.
Because the company introduced their products to the citizens.
Yeah.
And let the citizens to choose whether to buy.
Yeah, so the company will obviously be like, my product is the best. It's great, right? So of course it's one-sided. Their opinion will be, of course, biased, right? So I'm not just going to look at one ad and be like, I want that. No, right? Maybe I'll go and look, like if I'm buying shoes, I'm not only just going to look at Adidas, right? I'll be like, I wonder what Nike's doing. Obviously, right? Everyone does that. That's okay, right? And that's the whole point of an ad, is to try and compete with each other, okay? So if one of your unseen texts is an advert, very unlikely, I don't think it will be. If it is an advert, immediately the first thing you have to write is, this is biased, this is one-sided, this is opinionated, right? Because they're competing. It's an ad, yeah? All right, scroll down to reviews. Okay, why would anybody read reviews? Why is there a random A? So why would anybody read, like for example, a movie review? Why do I care how many stars it has?
So that people will know whether they should go to watch or not.
Yeah, but personally speaking. Do you guys use OpenRice? Yeah?
Not quite often.
Not that often, but sometimes you use OpenRice.
Yeah.
You guys have seen OpenRice,
Yeah.
right? Those people that write the long posts, why? How does it help you? It's a difficult question, right? Okay, let me try an easier question. Let's say, let me think. Okay, let's say Susanna has just tried the world's best. What's your favorite food? How is that a difficult question? Give me chocolate immediately. Like, I don't even have to think about it.
Candies.
Candy, cool. Okay, so Susanna has just tried the world's best candy, in her opinion, right? And then the next day, Ursula comes around and she's like, dude, I really want some good candy. Do you know where I can get it? What is Susanna going to say?
Where she can get.
Yeah, Susanna's gonna go, dude, I went to this other place yesterday. Oh my God, best candy in the world, hands down, right? And then just at that moment, Cherry walks in and she's like, no, that place sucks. There's a better place. How will you decide where to go?
Both.
You can't go to both. You have to pick one. I know. I was doing the same thing. I go to both. But if you had to pick one, how would you decide where to go?
Which one is more reliable?
How do you find that out?
Looking at the review.
That's it. It's a numbers game, right? If I came along, or, okay, I don't know why I'm involved in this. If Jenny came along, right, and Jenny goes, oh no, Susanna's place. That's the good one. Now there's 3 people, 2 for Susanna's place and 1 for Cherry's place. Where are you gonna go? Susanna's place, right? So that's why we need reviews. We need people who think like us to be like, I like this place, it was okay. Or don't go here, it's a waste of time. That's why we read reviews. I don't think you kids really read reviews these days. That's why I'm taking so long explaining what a review is. Yeah. When you're old, you're like, oh, what should I do with my time? I don't have any time left. Right? You guys are young, so it's fine. Right now, reviews, the type of reviews you'll get will be like for films, for music, for movies, maybe for some restaurants or types of food, festivals, that kind of thing. Yeah. Anytime you get a review, the first thing that you need to understand about that review is that there's an opinion. You have to find that opinion. Sometimes the opinion will be hard to find. Yeah. So sometimes they will just give you fact, opinion, fact. Okay. So that's how you have to get into the habit of being like, this is what the author thinks every single time. Okay. That word critics that I've put in italics, I'll put it in bold here. Yeah. Critics write reviews. The reason you need to learn that word critics is because if you get a review, you have to use that word. Okay. When there's vocab that you need to learn from this, I will put it in italics or bold or something. So if you ever see a word that's like in bold or in italics like that, remember it. Yeah. That goes in the vocab table, but we'll come to that in a second. Okay. So common features. Yeah. There's a short statement which will sum up the critic's viewpoint or the critic's opinion, basically. Yeah. It won't, like I said, sometimes it'll be like fact, opinion. And the statement can be, I don't like this. That's it. That's it. That can be the statement, but you have to find it. Yeah. All right. The other parts, the other features, we will look at more closely once we actually read a review, because I don't think descriptive or figurative language means anything to you right now. Yeah. Okay. Letters. How many of you have ever written a letter for real? Like not for school?
Yes.
Yeah? Who did you write a letter to?
My parents.
Yeah?
Because I was in England and I wrote a letter to them.
Okay. Okay. Have you guys, the 2 of you here, have you ever written a letter? No, I've never written. Who is writing letters? I have a computer.
Small.
Yeah, exactly. It's something, you know, when you're like a child, you're like, for some reason your parents are like, here, write a...
We were P5 write letters to like our grandparents.
Yeah.
In the playground.
Yeah.
And we used to write it.
Write a Christmas card.
Exactly.
Me too.
Yeah. But who is writing letters? In this day, in 2017, no one is writing letters. I can tell you that with 100% confidence because everyone is using email. Yeah. So with the letter, it annoys me that you have to write a letter for the exam. Do you know what I mean? Like it should be like write an email to blah, blah, blah. Because the format is a little bit the same, but in fact, an email, the main body or the main content, exactly the same. What is the difference? What is the difference in a letter and an email, except that an email is supposed to be, exactly, it's called electronic mail. Mail, like letters, right? So I hate letters the most. Anytime you guys have to write letters, you will have to hear me complain. I hate letters, yeah? Now, explain to me, what is the purpose of a letter? So who wants to go first? Let's go with, who hasn't answered a question yet? Ursula. No, just tell me.
Letters to, you can write letters to anyone for anything.
Exactly. That's my problem with, do you see what I mean? The problems are already starting and we're on the first thing, right? So letters can be to describe, to inform, to analyze. I can keep going, right? I can just keep going with that. Anything can be a letter, essentially. Yeah. Usually, if you're sitting there and you're like, why am I writing a letter? To inform. I'm informing you of blah, 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 blah. I'm informing you of my health. I'm informing you that my hotel is very nice. Just use the word inform somewhere and you'll be okay. Yeah. All right. Now, what are the types, not types of letter, but like what would you include in a letter? What are the different parts, I guess?
Dear blah blah blah.
Yes, what do you call that?
I don't
Greeting.
Greetings, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, what's the formal? No, that's an email term. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. Well, salutations. Please remember that word. Yeah? What else goes in a letter? Type of content. What's up? Sorry? Yeah, greetings. That's the dear blah blah blah.
How are you? What are you doing?
Oh, never read how are you. Useless. I think someone must have, yeah, I know. There are some teachers out there in this world who insist that you start a letter with, Dear Cherry, how are you?
Yes, really. It's our school. We did it every time.
I know. Honestly, every
how is the weather today?
Exactly. I hope you're doing, yeah, none of that. You will have some introduction to what you will talk about. I am writing to you about blah, blah, blah. That's it. That's how you start I am writing to you about blah, blah, blah. If you really want to be very polite, then hope you are well, full stop. I am writing to you about blah, blah, blah. Right? Just no extra, nothing too extra. That's it. Yeah? The whole purpose of this is when you're sitting in the exam and you have a piece of paper with the lines, right? And it's like, write a letter to your aunt. Why? What? Hi, aunt, I'm going to write you a letter. No, right? Then you're going to make up an aunt, and you're going to be like, Dear Auntie Susan. Like, you're just making up things at that point, right? Right? And then you have to go from there. Hope you like, why waste the time you don't have, okay? So everything we do will be maximum efficiency. There is no messing around. Right? You're just going to write down exactly the number of sentences you need to reach full marks. That's it. Okay? There is a method to every single exam that you will sit, including English. Yeah? Okay. What else would you include?
Body.
What is the main, what goes inside that main body?
What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, so let's say you're writing to Uncle John about how you are moving to a different school because they won't stop teaching you how to write dumb letters. So how do you proceed? What's the first paragraph? Just, hi, John. Hi, Uncle John. Hope you're well. What else do you write?
Except for I'm writing to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to school.
What goes with Dear Uncle John? What's at the end of your letter? How do you close?
Here's regard sincerely.
Yeah, what do you call all of that? I've already given you the word closing. It's a closing. Yeah. Yeah? Are you okay, Cherry?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Are you confused with something? Okay. Closing, sincerely, blah, blah, blah. Yeah? Okay. Can letters be, okay, not can. Are letters formal or informal? Or can they be both?
Both.
Yes, why? When would you write a formal letter?
To a boss.
Yes, exactly. Who would you write an informal letter to?
Friends.
Have you ever written a letter to any of your friends? No.
No.
What?
When I was small.
Oh, okay.
Look at my Christmas card. Sort of a letter.
No, that doesn't really count as a no.
Sort of.
No. See, this is again my problem with letters. Who is writing letters to anyone? It's so old. It's just so British, right? Like just making you write letters. Okay. So my next point is can be formal or informal. How do you show formality in a letter?
The words you use.
Yeah. How do you change the tone?
Maybe informally would be like, hey dude, how are you doing?
Yeah, but I would still say don't use dude in an exam. But you're not gonna be like, hey friend. That doesn't make it any better. In fact, that makes you a little bit creepy. You know, you're just like, don't like that. Don't call me friend like that, right? So how do you make something sound formal or informal? I'm gonna write 2 sentences, yeah? I'd like to which is more formal?
The second one.
Why?
Because yeah, but what do you call it? The dot thing. Yeah, the dot.
The dot thing.
So the thing I
Yes, that's right. Contractions, actually. I should change. Right. Second one, definitely more formal because there are no contractions, yeah? So here can be formal. That's it. Something so simple as using contractions, yeah? And suddenly it's a little less formal. That's it. You don't have to write poorly. You don't have to be like, hey, dude. No, right? You just have to write a little bit friendly, I guess, right? It's pretend you're writing to like, I don't know, pretend you're on Snapchat instead of, no, Snapchat is bad. No. Pretend you're on Instagram where people care what you're putting up, right? Because on Snapchat it's just like, don't have time for that. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on very quickly to diaries and blogs. Who wants to begin? Cherry.
It talks about your daily life or
Yes.
what you do every day.
That's right. What else can a blog be about?
Blog introduce some places.
Yeah.
For example, going traveling.
Yeah.
And introduce the places to the people.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So a blog can literally be about anything, whereas a diary is always by yourself. Yeah. My emotions. Look at I have so many emotions. That's a diary. Yeah. A blog is more like, look at this food I ate. Look at where I went in Bali. Right. Can be anything. Blogs more likely will come up to you as a unseen text, but a diary you will have to write. It's very unlikely that they will ask you in the exam to write a blog, but it is very likely that they will ask you to write letters and diaries. So those 2 things you need to really understand very, very well. Yeah. So letters, diaries, and actually newspaper articles. Those are quite famous as well. The reason they ask you to write a diary is because that's a good way of testing how you can describe things, right? A diary is where you can write for like, some people will write half a page. Some people will have diaries where they're written like 10 pages in one day. Yeah. It can really vary in length. Have you ever kept a journal or a diary? Yeah. Yeah. It's quite rare for people these days to actually have a journal or a diary. Yeah. But the point is still the same, that the whole purpose is to just inform yourself, really, right? It's for me to be like, this is what I did today. Don't forget. This is what you did today. Cool. That's it. Right. Tomorrow you will do this. I don't know. You got angry. I got angry at someone on the MTR. That's it. I'm just giving a recount of my day. Yeah. So purpose. Right. To share an opinion, to inform, to entertain. Can go on forever. To describe. Yeah. What are the features of diaries and or blogs? Because they can be quite similar. That's why they're together. Let's start with blogs. And when you think about the layout of a blog, what does it actually look like?
Pictures.
Yeah, there can be pictures. What else? Say that again. That's right. Can be pictures. Must have title or date. Something, right, to signify that this is a new chapter, basically. What else?
Is there subtitles?
Can be subtitles. When would you have subtitles? I'm gonna ask Susanna.
To have, no, to start a new section, so.
Would you find it in a diary or a blog?
Upload.
Yes. Okay. What was my other comment? Oh, yes. Language use. What type of language do you find in a diary? Informal. Why?
So you talk to yourself.
Right. What is that called when you write in
First person.
first person? I write in first person narrative. You can call it narrative voice if you want. Why don't you refer to yourself in the third person?
Strange.
It's exactly. It's yeah. I will not always ask you simple questions. So with the first group, I would ask them these questions, and they were like, "What? What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Cause it's weird. You have to. You can't only know what to do. You also have to know what not to do. You know what I mean? Right? It's both sides. Learn both sides. Yeah. Okay. I want to quickly move on just because we're running a little short on time. Yeah. Let's go to newspaper articles. Another important one. How many of you read a newspaper daily?
Nah.
Yeah, like a physical newspaper.
Nah.
Yeah. How many of you sometimes read articles maybe on your phone? Do you read the news on your phone or on a laptop?
Sometimes, but in Chinese.
Yeah.
Mostly Instagram. Maybe there are news on Instagram that I don't see. News Daily Hong Kong. Oh.
Yeah. Other of you read
Television.
television? Yeah. Yeah. Cool. But no written down news articles, right? See, that's why this is probably the most difficult one for most students, because you guys are growing up in an age where we don't actually need a lot of paper, right? So it seems a bit pointless for you to be like, how do I write a news, right? But people are obviously still reading news. People are still writing the news, right? Like people will still go online and actually read things, yeah? But the way the format has changed from this to this, right? That's something that the exam is not updated on, right? So the exam is still like, my students read news. That's the problem that I have with the exam, that the exam thinks the students are doing all of these things. And I'm like, no. Like even the people who write the exams are not doing all of these things. So why should the students who are like, what, 20 years younger at least, why are they doing that, right? So with the newspaper article, the hardest thing is getting the voice right? Can a newspaper article be informal?
No.
No, if it's informal, it's a blog post. No one cares, basically, at that point, right? What is the purpose?
Informal.
That's right. That's it. Sometimes we could describe, but then why are we reading it, you know? Okay, what type of content? Okay, generally quite informative, so facts, or you would hope that they would have facts. Again, because we've swapped from this to this, it's much easier to read something that's just not true. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So you would hope that the newspaper is factual. That's the first thing. So you start reading something and you're like, I don't know, that doesn't sound right. No. You know, it'll be something stupid like, all Indian people have curly hair. And you're just like, what? Why would you even write? Like, why is this even a topic to write about? Right? So not only do you guys have to deal with real news, you also have to deal with idiot news, right? So you have to deal, again, it's always know what you're doing, but also know what you're not doing, basically, yeah? Always both, okay? Facts, Data and statistics. Okay. Think about the paragraphs that go into a news report. What is the structure of those paragraphs?
They first describe the overall the incident, then they write detail.
How do you end?
Maybe some professors.
Right, so she's actually on the right track here, yeah? You always begin with a sort of summary of what's going on. You just give the basic scene, right? And then you go into the facts, figures, the data, whatever statistics that you might have, maybe some pictures of the event, whatever. Like whatever is going on, the main details, they will all be in the short little stocky bit, right? And then obviously at the end somewhere, they'll sneak in, then expert from HKU, blah, 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 has commented saying, right? Why use this expert? Who is this expert? Why use them?
Because they have credibility.
Yeah, they show what people, they show what people tend to be thinking, right? So the reason we use either like comments or quotes from experts or politicians, a lot of the times we'll use them when they have done something wrong, right? So, you know, like, I don't know, like if Carrie Lam were to offend someone, the next day they'll be like at the NCMP, Carrie Lam apologized in this note, blah, blah, blah. And then there's a quote from Carrie Lam, I'm so sorry I hurt you, right? Right? So it's to show that my newspaper made a point, right? And my newspaper was correct. And now this politician has had to react because we are such a big story. Do you see what I mean, right? So the expert or the quotes are really to back up all of these other points, right? To back up the newspaper's opinion. Does that make sense? Yeah, let me try and write this down. How do I write this down? Quotes. In the story. Okay. I will skip over information leaflets for the time being, and we will go straight to autobiographies. Okay. You will never have to write a biography of any kind. Don't worry. Yeah. The reason I say that with such confidence is because what are the common features of a biography or an autobiography?
It talks about a person's life.
Yes. What do you need to know about that person?
Everything about them.
The age of
I'm sorry?
the age of the person.
The age, everything. You need to know everything about that person. The only time you may ever have to write a biography for this exam is if you were writing, I don't know, a biography on your dog that you have had all your life. And even that is impossible because you can't read the mind of a dog. Yeah, so you will never have to write a biography, but you will have to know how they work. Yeah, because a lot of your texts are biographies or autobiographies. Yeah, the reason you need to know them is because this is actually the most popular form of nonfiction, is to read an autobiography, right? Like Obama has had a few. Who else has had a few? Some famous people have had a few popular ones. Yeah, there was a big thing with the hardcover, the picture of them. Like, great, you're beautiful. You know, get out of here, right? So the whole purpose of the autobiography is to do what? Write about yourself.
To show people how good they are.
Well, let's put that nicely. To share experiences, right? To inform, to describe, to entertain. Right? So if Donald Trump wrote a biography, it'd be quite funny, it'd be entertaining, right? Because he thinks it's serious. Yeah? So you see where I'm going with this, right? Okay, so common features are facts, figures, data, right? Events, events or experiences, like in Passage to Africa, where he literally goes to Africa and he talks about going to Africa. right? That's what the text is about, yeah? Or in Explorer's Daughter, she talks about going home, right? What they do at home, how they hunt at home, right? Events and experiences, okay? And that doesn't, you have to also use this sort of text types to form your own ideas about what it means to have facts or statistics versus experiences, yeah? Because I can give you facts about how in the Explorer's Daughter, they're killing all the narwhals. Oh my God, they're dying, right? But they needed to survive. So where do you draw that line? When is it okay to kill or hunt? And when is it not okay to kill or hunt, right? So if it were, the Japanese over there killing all the whales, that's not okay. Why is that not okay? Why are we so angry at Japan for hunting whales?
Because Japan is not is a rich country, some sort of, and they don't need it for sustenance.
They don't need it for sustenance, no, right? They're sort of mercilessly killing the whales. They're not going, I'm really sorry, I have to eat you. I have to survive. No, right? Japan's got a lot going on that they don't actually need to kill the whales, right? But in Explorer's Daughter, what happens if they don't kill a narwhal? They literally die, right? So what you have to understand between these different texts is not just that it's an autobiography, but it's missing facts and figures, so it's not that good. No, it means there's a real need for you guys to understand that not everything can be put down into numbers. Yeah, not everything can have evidence behind it that's as hard as numbers. Yeah, the reason I'm talking about all of this is because students will write these essays, on Explorer's Daughter or something, and they'll actually be very mean to the I forget their name, the villagers, Inuit, that's the one, right? And every time I read it, I'm like, what? Like, yeah, I feel sad that the narwhals are dying, but they need to survive. Like, they need to eat. You know what I mean? Like you go and hunt something then. Like, we just go to Park and Shop or Welcome, and I'm sorted. Do you guys even go to Park and Shop or Welcome? Unless with your mom, like, come help me carry things, right? Right. So that's the whole idea behind these different text types, for you to understand that, and not everything is black and white. Everything is actually just gray. Yeah. So you need to understand where the confusion is, and you have to try and make sense of that confusion, right? But I'm trying to get you to use more common sense instead of like, yeah. Okay. Essays. Who writes essays?
Me.
Yes. That's right. That's right. Why would you guys write essays?
For school.
If you don't, you'll fail. That's right. That's right. Exactly. Yeah. What are you supposed to include in an essay? What was the last essay you guys wrote?
Explorer's Daughter.
Yeah. What was the question, if anybody remembers?
How do the writers convey her feelings about the and all?
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. So what did you guys write about?
We have different question.
Yeah.
We have how does the writer maintain and shape in her story?
Mm-hmm. How did you answer that question?
Description of the place,
Mm-hmm.
and then the confession of the writer,
Mm-hmm.
and then the speed.
Yeah. Okay. So how did you guys write about the interest in whatever? Oh no, that was your interest. What was yours? Feelings. What feelings? Who knows? Who knows? That's what I mean. What interest? But this is what I mean about your questions. Your questions are so general. Your question must have been like maybe 10, 15 words maximum. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? Interest in, I don't know, right? What was your feelings? What feelings? I can have literally 600 feelings in one day, right? Like, when you go to 7-Eleven and you're like, I'm gonna get my ice cream, and they don't have your ice cream.
Oh.
Immediately, I'm like, I hate everything. I hate everyone. This is stupid. Why do I do this? Right? How quickly I can change my feelings, right? So how can you write in a 500, I think Explorer's Daughter is about 500 words. How can you possibly write all of those feelings down? That's not possible, right? So you have to pick and choose, just like you two picked and choose, right? So you went descriptive language, and about this, and about that, and you make it yourself, right? Now, the common thing with the essay is you will always have a question. That's the only thing you have with the essay. You have the one question, and you have to put all of your trust in that question, okay? Now, a lot of the times that question will be really stupid and generic, and you'll be like, I don't care that she has feelings. I don't care that the narwhals are dying. I just don't care, right? Like, you can't relate to it. And that's one of the main problems, is that you're not being taught the language you need to know to be like, I genuinely feel sorry for her. How can I possibly say that if I don't care? Yeah. So that's a little bit of what we will do. Now, what is the purpose of an essay?
Get good grades.
Well, yeah, I know.
Is there any purpose?
Yeah.
To inform.
That's right. To inform. What else?
Describe.
To describe.
To analyze.
Yes.
And
What else? When would I write an essay to entertain?
when it is something that's cool.
Like?
Food. I don't know.
Yeah, but what would the question be? Like, what is an entertaining question?
I don't think any question is okay.
Oh, it can be. Can be. For example, is Donald Trump stupid? Discuss. Right? So your essay question is discuss if you think Donald Trump is stupid.
Okay.
Great. I think he's incredibly stupid. Let's talk about all the different ways that I think he is stupid. Paragraph 1, he's stupid because of his hair. Paragraph 2, he's stupid because he has small hands. Paragraph 3, I can just keep going, right? That's an entertaining essay where I'm not really saying much, but at the same time, I have managed to make a category, right? I somehow have a plan, right? So you can actually, some of the essay questions that they'll ask you can be trying to get you to be funny. And this will happen a lot in the creative writing, where they'll push you and be like, hey, someone felt that, what do you do, right? And then suddenly you have to be like, I didn't help them, I just laughed. That's it. Yeah, so you have to sort of figure out your own boundaries. Yeah, what are the common features of an essay? What was that?
Evidence.
I can write an
Quotes.
no, not all essays have quotes. Did you know that you can pretty much get an A without ever using quotes in this exams? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, topic sentence.
Yes, topic sentence.
P.
Oh, you're doing the okay. Oh no. So at your school you're doing point, evidence, explain?
Yes.
Can you do me a favor and just forget point, evidence, explain? That's not how that works. I don't know why they teach you this. Every single child I have ever taught here, I've taught here for a long time, has come to me and said, oh, we use PEE or PEA or PEEL. There's lots of variations, yeah? Please forget every single variation. It will not help you in life. It will not help you in this exam. Yeah, there's a better way of doing this, which we will also learn. Okay, so you have, what you're saying to me is quote that you analyze, yeah? If you're doing a literature essay, for example, okay? What comes at the end of each paragraph? So you have the topic sentence and then close.
Short.
Concluding or a linking sentence. Yeah, those two are slightly different and we'll talk about that as well. What about the main bit? So you have the topic sentence, blob, concluding sentence. What goes in the middle? I'm sorry? Yeah, exactly, your analysis. Yeah, which is the main point, basically, that you are making. How do you make a main point? How do you come up with a main point?
From the present.
Yes. Tell me, remind me again what your question was on Explorer's Daughter.
How
I didn't write.
How did the writer convey?
Everything.
How does the writer convey her feelings towards the
Hunting.
The hunting. Okay. So obviously you're supposed to write about, oh, she's so sad, but at the same time she's like, I want to save the narwhals, right? That's what you're writing about, basically. That's your main point, right? What from the passage, what do you have to look at to know that she's sad, but also a bit like, we have to do it? How can you tell from just the passage? What do you really are looking for? What are you looking for?
Her opinion. Her thoughts.
Her thoughts, yeah, her opinion, I guess. You're looking for adjectives. If the adjectives are happy, then cool, she's fine with it. If the adjectives are a bit sad, then she's not okay with it. No, she's not okay with it, right? Yeah. So your actual use of and why adverbs?
Describe the actions.
Yeah. What do I get from describing actions?
To know what the person is thinking.
Yeah, to know what the emotions, right? Yeah. So use of adjectives and adverbs, because this is, oh no, what have I done? Emotive language. Yeah. Okay. Anytime you see emotive language, usually they're talking about adjectives or adverbs. Sometimes it might be nouns, but those nouns will always be to do with some kind, like happiness, right? Yeah. Right? So if I make things into a noun, then it's usually for emotive purposes, okay? Right, we have topic sentence, we have quotes that you, I know what we forgot. Oops. What was in an introduction paragraph?
In this passage.
Okay, so you begin with name of passage plus author.
And then what does it talk about?
Yeah, so summary.
Talk about what the question is and what you want to talk about.
Yes, that's right. What is the very last sentence in your introduction paragraph called? It begins with a T. How many of you like science? Okay. How many of you like math?
Oh, I hate every subject.
Okay, cool. You're like me then. Cool.
I don't like it.
Okay. The last sentence in your introduction paragraph it's not trigonometry. Thesis. A thesis statement. What is a thesis statement?
No idea.
Can everybody pronounce thesis first?
Thesis.
Yeah.
Thesis.
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 Yeah.
Thesis. Thesis.
Yeah. Susanna? Yeah, thesis. I hate that TH sound. So my first language is Hindi, right? So I don't speak English. Well, I speak English, but I learned English, I think maybe when I was like 7 or 8 years old, something like that, probably older. And so when I learned English, that TH sound, what is that? What is with that TH? I was like, thesis. I could not make that sound. The way you make that thesis sound, your tongue is not really touching your teeth. It's just thesis. Yeah, like as soon as it's about to touch your teeth, you go, no, not today. That's how you do thesis. It's so stupid, right? What is this language, right? So a thesis statement, by the way, your introduction paragraph should be maybe 4 sentences, no more. That's it. So if you're writing introduction paragraphs that are like super long or super short, adjust. You need exactly 4 sentences, basically. Actually, you could do it in 3, but anyway. So the thesis statement is your last thing where you simply talk about what you will write about. Yeah, it can be something like this. This essay will explore the feelings of whatever her name was in regards to the hunting of narwhals. That's it. That's your thesis statement. You basically take the question, steal all the words from the question that you can, then you rewrite it, right? Or a thesis statement can be the author uses descriptive language, metaphors, and I don't know, word choice to talk about, I don't know, to discuss the suffering of the Inuit people, something along those lines. Yeah. So the essay is the most complex because you will write a lot of them, but the essay is also the most misunderstood. Am I running out of time? Oh. No, I'm not running out of time. Oh, I am running out of time. Oh no, I have you till 4:30. Yes. Cool. All right. A thesis statement, the reason you write this statement is because your examiner will be reading like hundreds of exactly the same essay. Exactly the same, yeah? So when the last line in your introduction tells your examiner exactly the 3 things you will focus on, that examiner is like, okay, I'm ready for this, right? And so then they go, right, she writes about descriptive language first, and then we go to body paragraph 1. And what have you done? You have written about descriptive language. Done. And as soon as I see that in an essay, I'm like, structure, yes, right? There are different points that you can get for essays. It doesn't matter if your grammar is perfect. It doesn't matter if your spelling is a bit off. It's fine, right? They're not going to be like, oh, there's a spelling error. No one cares, yeah? If I can read it and if I can make sense of it, that's all that they're really looking for, right? The exam criteria, the focus is on content, not on grammar, not on spelling, okay? So I get a lot of students from Hong Kong who are like, my grammar is always wrong. I don't know what I'm writing. Oh my God, I don't know all the vocab. Doesn't matter. You can still write a good essay. That's it. Yeah? Because I'm not testing you on grammar. In your mind, since primary school, you're being tested on grammar. You're not being tested on actually like what you're thinking. Yeah? I want to test you on what is actually that you're thinking. That's it. Okay? All right. Travel writing, I will skip for now. Magazines, articles, I'm going to skip for now because I want to take you guys through the vocab. So if you guys can go back to the main folder, the Edexcel English folder, and go to vocabulary table. Can everybody see that? Okay. What do you notice about this vocab table? Yes, why on earth would I put that there? I don't speak or read Chinese, so.
It's for us.
Yeah.
So that we can understand what that means if we forget.
Not really. Yeah, part of it, yes, I guess. There's another reason.
To understand the exact meaning.
No. I don't think anyone can ever truly understand an exact meaning of something. Even in my own language, I don't think that's possible. But what is the advantage that you guys have?
Should we know 2 languages?
Yeah, okay, right, yeah. You know 2 languages, fine. But what is the advantage of knowing 2 languages? What's everybody's first language?
Cantonese.
Yeah, your first language is Cantonese, right? Like you were literally born ready to speak Cantonese. As soon as you came out into the world, your family was like, Cantonese, here we go, right? You speak literally what I think is one of the most difficult languages, right? Because Cantonese has what, 9 tones? You don't even know that it has 9 tones because you're just so used to, you're like, I'm so good at it, it's fine, whatever, right? And then there's people like me who are like, what's the difference between ma and ma? Like, I don't know, right? No. But I can understand exactly enough Cantonese to know what I'm talking about. That's it. I can only understand languages. I just can't speak them. Yeah. I can do all the swear words. I can do all the, you know, when you yell at people on the street, like, why are you in my way? Stop looking at your phone, or like that kind of thing. Yeah, like, stuff like that. Yeah. So the advantage you have with your Chinese language abilities is that there are more ways of saying better things in Chinese than in English. Yeah? So let's do a vocab word. Let me think. What should we do? Oh, I know. Okay, take a breather. I'm gonna get Explorer's Daughter. We'll do that as an example.
มันตายดีเหรอเฮ้ย
Oh, found it. Explorer's Daughter. Okay. Oh, we're gonna do. I can see you, right? You guys are so weird.
We are really weird.
All right, let's do. Oh, yeah, I like this one. This is your sentence. The hunters were dotted all around the fjord. What's a fjord? I'm sure you learned this when you were doing Explorer's Daughter. So the hunters were dotted, all around the fjord.
Yes. Is it like around the sea?
Narrow sort of inlet, if you will, a narrow passage between the giant things. The focus is on dotted all around. So the hunters were dotted all around the fjord. Yeah. Now the vocab that I will give you from that is dotted all around. So I'm not giving you one word. I'm actually giving you a phrase. Yeah. What I would like, actually, let's do this in teams. I'll give you two. Jenny and Ursula. Yeah. Okay, the two of you can work on dotted all around, and then the two of you on this side, Susanna and Cherry, can work on, let's find something. No, I don't like that. Okay. You guys are gonna do split second.
Oh, that's one split second.
You always want what the other people have. It's fine. I bet these guys are like, oh, I wish I had dotted all around.
Nah, I didn't. No.
All right, I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes. I want you to write down all similar words or phrases. I'm gonna change that to phrases. And then I want you to do with the before you begin with the Chinese translation. I don't want you to just directly translate. I want you to actually think about what that means. Yeah. So like for example, as you said, dotted all around, they're like sort of spread out, right? I want that same feeling in Chinese. Okay. You can also write it in Chinese if you know how to do that. And you guys can use Google, you can use the sources, you can use whatever you want.
Scattered. Yeah, good.
Spread out or scattered or.
Okay.
你好I guess so. Scattered over. Onto over. Space.
你好，你们好，很好哇。我不知道那个你好，你好，我想有你。
你可以投喺我，好咩？係咪？唔係你個記得，我都需要。周圍都係屋企咯，係就話你唔知邊個嗰啲佢做咩踩咗個地圖啊？教啊！聽到就講咩聲啊？你再搞佢依家聽到嚟啊！咩啊？呢個就係我隻眼靚過嚟嘅，因為我隻眼有你。個佢係買啲勁核突啫！啊，其他我好黑，其他嗰啲面冇乜數嘅。周圍因為係同埋佢擔咗佢啊！係啊，
Okay. So tell me first in Chinese, dotted all around. What does that mean?
It's everywhere.
What is the feeling?
It's like everywhere there's that thing. Wow.
Like there are many of them?
Like here, like keep.
So what type of feeling? Do you get a happy feeling or a sad feeling? Or like a
Neutral.
Neutral. Okay. Now that's the other thing that I'm going to talk about. Why is this aircon always too cold or too hot? Right. I don't care what language you're speaking, there is positive, neutral, and negative. Yeah? You just have to distinguish between these three things. So even if there's a word here that you don't know, like, do we know the word, let's try brittle. What is brittle? Happy, not happy?
Not happy.
Why? How do you know it's not a happy word?
Is it brutal?
Brittle. B-R-I-T-T-L-E. Brittle. Don't Google it.
Not happy.
Why not
No
happy?
way. Can I have a sentence?
No, you can have a sentence. The ivory was found to be brittle.
You continue it like some more.
The ivory was found to be brittle and not hugely satisfactory as a weapon.
Not happy tonight.
How do you know that? Because I said the word not hugely satisfactory.
Yes.
That's it. That's all you need to know. That's it. Yeah? So now there's two parts to this understanding how these words work. Yeah? Dotted all around can have a negative impact. It can also be positive. But in this case, it's just what it is. It's neutral. There's no emotion. Not everything has to have emotion to it. That's okay. Yeah? Okay. Are there any other more creative ways of saying dotted all around in Chinese except for that? You girls can also help her. We'll help them. You should ask your parents this question later, yeah? Okay, let's do a split second. What do you guys think?
You mean the Chinese
Yeah.
or
Chinese.
Yes,
Say that again?
yes,
What does it mean?
short. Just very short second.
Very short, yeah? So this first character here is 1.
Yeah.
What's this middle one?
Sun.
Meaning, is it a second? Is it the time?
Short.
Short.
Yeah.
So the middle one means short, and the last
means time.
time. So one short time. Yeah.
Some short.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's completely fine. Why am I so focused on that one?
It's short.
Yeah, it's short, but it's the, if I said, just give me 2 seconds, you'll go, okay, fine. Like no big deal, right? I can even say, give me a sec. Still very casual, right? I don't literally mean give me 1 second. You know, when someone says to you, just give me a second.
Probably 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna be waiting around for a while, right? We all know that, right? But then if I go, oh my God, we only have a second left. What are you thinking now? Boom, like you're about to all explode. Yeah, right? It's the importance of the only one. Yeah? The importance of the only one can be happy or negative, but it is very unlikely to be in the middle. It will hardly ever be neutral. If they're talking about time and such a short time, it's not gonna be like, we were just waiting around for a half hour, chilling, waiting for narwhals. No, right? Everything's happened quickly, very, very quickly, right? Why do I like split second? What is it about that phrase that's pretty?
Alliteration.
Alliteration. Why is alliteration pretty?
Sibilance.
Yeah, alliteration, same thing. You don't need to learn sibilance. Learn sibilance when you do A levels or IB or something. Like, don't worry about that yet. Why do I like it? Why does it not feel nice? It's smooth, right? A split second is literally half a second, right? That's like the exact definition is half a second. Yeah. The reason split second is better than half a second is because it takes me longer to say half a second. It's uglier because I have to go half a second. There's too many parts to it, right? Whereas with split seconds, I'm just using the tongue in the same way, right? So you actually speed up reading it. So split second is not just because it's alliteration, but because it's pace. We are now playing with pace. I'm sure you guys have heard the words pace, tone, mood, atmosphere. What do all these words mean? Let's start with atmosphere. How do I create atmosphere?
When you put on Despacito and you create atmosphere. Some sort of
Get hyped.
An atmosphere can be calm.
Yeah.
An atmosphere can be exciting. An atmosphere can be angry.
the environment.
Yeah, to see how do you create environment in text with words?
Positive or negative or actual words.
Sort of. You're not wrong. Like your answers are not wrong, but there's something missing. What am I looking for? Yeah, everything has emotive language. Anything. Yeah. Me waking up is emotive language. So what is it about creating some kind of atmosphere? Okay, let me give you an example. Yeah, an example is when we started this lesson. Actually, it doesn't even have to be that far back, but whatever. We started the lesson, right? There was some issue with the Google Drive as usual. And then we got to me talking and you guys started laughing for a bit. And then you became quiet again while you were listening to me, right? And then you became loud again when you were laughing at me. Then you became quiet again when you were listening to me. And then there was a little bit of talk like, how do I say this in Chinese? Why is she making me write Chinese, right? When you were doing the table. Then you were a bit of quiet again when I was explaining the words. What have I just done? What's an environment? Changes, exactly. So yeah, you can have emoji, you can have whatever you want. You have to show change, right? to create an environment, you can't just be positive, happy, 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 happy. What is the point of that? What? Nothing. I don't care if you're just always happy for 500 words. There's nothing exciting for me to read, right? Even though it's 500 words, you have to have a story. There has to be something going on. Yeah. So changes, show the changes. That's exactly right. Okay. Dilemma. I love that word, dilemma. What does dilemma mean?
Problem.
Sorry?
Problem.
Oh, yeah, a problem. What's a dilemma in Chinese?
困难
How do you say problem in Chinese?
困难
问题。
问题
What's the difference between those two?
similar
Exactly, similar, but not same. Just like dilemma and problem. I'm going to put down problem here. What's the difference between a dilemma and a problem? Can be in a struggle, sure, sure. What does Google tell you? What do you get when you type in dilemma? Actually, two of you here on my left side, can you type in dilemma and can you guys type in problem?
oh there's a software Delhi
That's a famous 90s song. You guys weren't born then.
Is it good?
No, it's a horrible song. Please don't listen to it. It will ruin your eyeballs. Yeah, no, it will ruin your eyeballs and ears. Right, so let's begin with problem.
why did I find
That's why.
why
How does Google define problem? It's okay, take your time, don't worry. Something you have to deal with, yeah? And dilemma?
Problem offering, we can say that. A situation in which a difficult choice has to be made between two or more alternatives.
Why so different? So tell me again in Chinese how you say problem and dilemma.
困难
Are there differences sound about the same as this? Do there differences? Sorry. Sort of.
yeah
Okay. Now a problem is if I take this and it's sitting here and I drop it, it's water everywhere. That's a problem. I can deal with it. It's not impossible. Just have to get a lot of paper.
oh yeah
Yeah. A dilemma is if. Oh my God, when was the last time I faced a dilemma? I don't know. Oh, okay. I'll give you a really stupid dilemma. Okay. Today for lunch, I was like, what should I have for lunch? Should I have a salad or should I have McDonald's? Is it really a dilemma? No. Because in my brain, I'm like, don't eat McDonald's. You don't want to get fat. Don't eat McDonald's. Don't eat McDonald's. But then at the same time, it's like, oh, but shake fries, shake fries, shake fries, right? And then on the other side of my mind, it's like, but a salad will be good for you. And then the other side of my mind, I'm like, but it's a salad. It's what horses eat. Or you're a horse, right? Right? So that's my stupid, but still a dilemma, right? So in order to have a dilemma, you must have two situations, basically. Okay? When can you use the word dilemma?
you can't decide
On what?
the two things that is offered to you
Yes, when you cannot decide on two or more things that are offered to you, right? In your essays, it's unlikely you will use the word dilemma unless you're talking about a dilemma that a character is facing. So this dilemma you will never use personally. Yeah? A lot of students are like, I don't want to talk about personal details. Fine, you don't have to talk about personal details. But you have to use the same personal sort of vocab to talk about the characters you have to deal with. Yeah? Your problem are the characters. Your dilemma is which ones do you hate a little less. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, cool. Let's do one more. Oh no, we won't have time. Here's what I would like you guys to do. I'd like you guys to reread Explorer's Daughter. Yeah? I want you to write down. So also, if you go to the main folder, this is what I want you guys to do before next class, yeah? In the main Edexcel English Sneha Roy Saturday, you see that folder, right? In that folder, I want you to create a new folder with your name.
Week one.
No, not in week one, in the Edexcel English folder itself. Here, let me help you, Cherry. Oh, you need to get the app.
Yeah, I just downloaded it.
Oh, okay, it's fine. Okay, who doesn't know how to, if you're using an iPad, I can show you how to do the folder thing. Let me see. Go to shared with me.
This.
Yeah, exactly like that. Good job. Yes, you have to go to the Google Drive app if you have it. If you don't have the app yet, don't worry. Let me see.
How to do it.
Yeah, have you downloaded the app?
You mean Google Drive?
Okay, help you. Yeah. You guys can do that later. I'm not too worried about that yet. Yeah. We can do the thing here as well. Oh, you've already made one first. Well, nice. Okay, so we're missing Cherry. We have Cherry. Okay, Cherry, you can be red. Jenny, you can be, ooh, I like that yellow. Ursula can be green. And I'm missing Susanna. Susanna, I'm making your folder.
Okay.
And Susanna, can everybody at least see the folders?
Yeah.
Yeah? Cherry, can you?
Google Drive.
Google Drive, Edexcel English.
They haven't downloaded it like that, so like. You see,
Yeah, we're okay? Yeah? This will not, like, you're not gonna suddenly fail everything because you fold. Don't worry too much yet. I'm doing this because what then you have to do is that vocab table, you're going at home, not now, don't do anything now, yeah? Stop typing. All right, what you, I don't get angry, you know, like some teachers get really angry. I don't get angry, so I just get whiny, like I complain. So.
You're like my mom.
Yeah, because it's like, why be angry when you can, you know, not be angry? So that's why, like, if I'm like talking and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Yeah. So anyway, the 4 folders that basically we've created today, the reason is you're going to copy and paste the vocab table into a new Google Doc. You're going to read individually through all of this, and you're going to put down every single word or phrase that you don't understand. Yeah, if the phrase happens to be the full sentence, fine, I don't care. If there's one whole sentence that you don't understand, write the whole sentence and put it in there, okay? Now, the one thing I have not done yet, which I will do tomorrow at some point, is that I did not include the right texts, yeah? So because I assumed we would do Passage from Africa, I've only uploaded Passage from to Africa, sorry. So what I'll do tomorrow is I'll upload Explorer's Daughter, the full text, so you guys can actually use the Google Drive to make your notes and make blah blah blah. I really want you to. The other reason that we feel you guys need to get familiarized with Google Docs or Google Drive in general is because when you go to uni, you'll be using a lot of these platforms. No one is using paper anymore. Yeah. So the quicker you learn to use this platform, the easier your life will be at uni. So you won't have to spend like hours being like, oh, where's my homework? I don't know what my teacher is doing. Yeah. So we're trying to prepare you for what you're going into. Yeah. And I think it'll be very helpful for each of you to have a folder where you can just write, even in the documents, if you want to make a new document of all the questions you have for me, make a document and write, what does this mean? Why is she so sad? I don't care what the question is, just write something. Yeah. Okay. In the last few minutes that we have, I want to know if you guys have any urgent questions about Explorer's Daughter that I can prepare you for next week. What did you find difficult about the text? You can have a look at this if that helps. Here, pass that around, yeah? Don't keep it too long. Do you remember what you found difficult with it? If you can't think of anything to do with Explorer's Daughter, you can think of something to do with the writing, because I'm sure everybody hates writing. So what do you hate about writing? Let's start with, who do we start with this time? Also, every time you answer a question, I write it down. That's right. Let's start with Ursula. No, not Ursula. Let's start with Cherry.
How to explain after writing and evidence.
How to explain after. Oh, okay. Analyze.
Just really to use our.
How to analyze after evidence. Any other questions, Cherry?
I think.
No? Okay. Let's do Jenny.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like the writing and asking part. Like, I don't really know how to when I put in evidence, I don't know how to like explain it better. And I struggle most with unseen text. Oh, me too. Yeah, unseen text.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let me look at. I'm going to make an all column now. Okay, so everybody wants to know analysis after evidence, which was Cherry's question, yeah? Okay, so how to do analysis after evidence, okay? And what do you mean, like, say your second point again? What was your second point?
The unseen text.
Unseen text. What is the difficulty with unseen texts?
How to analyze the message
Is there any specific skill?
in a short time, and also poetry.
Yeah, definitely poetry. Yeah. We're not going to worry about poetry until later. We're just going to focus on prose. When you become experts with prose, we'll move to poetry. Okay, unseen text. So unseen text for everybody?
Yes.
Unseen text method. And someone said short time. What was the short?
Analyze the text in a short time.
Wait, sorry. Say that again, Susanna.
We have 45 minutes only for the unseen text.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay, method and time management. Okay. Ursula, do you have any questions about the text?
I want to know more about the literary devices.
Literary devices. Okay, fine. Okay, so that's all.
Sometimes like mostly the question asked like, how does the writer show this feeling? And I want to know more like how like any specific sentences or like can evoke those emotions.
Discussing feelings and emotions. Who have I? Ursula, what was your question? Your question was the literary devices, yes. Right? Specifically, like remembering them or writing about them?
Writing about them.
Okay. All right, and Susanna.
Okay.
Any questions for me? For writing? Doesn't have to be the text, like just something you don't really know how to read.
How to be creative.
How to be creative? No, that's a great question. Honestly, that's a great question. How to be creative. What we'll do, we will definitely put a lot of focus on this creative writing. It's a part of the schedule anyway. The how to be creative is actually a very good question because you're not being creative for fun. You're being creative because it's an exam. That means there's not a lot of creativity, right? That means you are trying to score points. So it's a very different type of creative. It's still a little bit creative, but not very creative. So that's my problem. Okay. We will go through each of these questions next week before we begin the class. Yeah. Some of the bigger ones like literary devices and how to write about them and how to be creative, I'll just sort of show you maybe a few samples of methods, right? Everything I want to do is about methods. So I don't really want to do too much on like, how do I feel today? I don't, yeah? So I'll try my best to sort of show you guys how I think, because I think when you change the way you think about your texts and you change the way you're reading the texts, it will make a huge difference, yeah? So next week, I'll also set a question for Explorer's Daughter. And we're going to try and see how far we can get with that, okay? What text will you guys do after Explorer's Daughter?
I actually have the schedule here. I'm going
Okay. Oh, that one's so stupid.
No, I remember. This one.
Can you share this with me?
Yeah, I can upload it to the.
Yes. Can you upload it to your folder if possible?
Only these are covered in Form 3. Not I'm covered in Form 4. Just 11.
Go up. Oh no, girl, the necklace. What? They're doing poem? Scroll down. Necklace, beyond the sky. Oh, okay. You're doing you're doing disabled? Why would you do disabled?
I think this one is in the second term, like really fast. Okay. Probably it will cover like these in the first term exam.
Yeah.
But probably like 5 or 6, I'm not sure. But these two definitely. Yeah.
Okay. When are your do you guys have exams or like mock exams coming up soon? After Christmas, before Christmas?
Yeah. Our exam is definitely like
Before Christmas.
Before
November.
November.
Yes, the first test. And then we have exam and in the start of December.
All right. Here's what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is, and I am running late again, yeah. What I'm thinking is, actually, let me first stop recording.
I'll upload it when I'm back home.